Welcome to a series of videos made from the 8mm movies of Clint Jones Jr., which he filmed in the early to mid-1960s. This video is the second of two parts that will cover footage he shot in Michigan's Keweenaw Peninsula. The map shows the peninsula and connecting mainland and the rail network as it existed at the time of the filming. The original intent was to have Clint narrate. Unfortunately, he passed away as the movies were being digitized, so narration will be provided by me using his notes, his son Christopher, Dennis Leopold of the Copper Range Railroad Historical and Technical Society, and Bob Anderson, who accompanied Clint on many of his outings then, including some of these. Others reviewed the footage and provided comments. Clint does not have the film footage in chronological order, which made narration a little challenging. In several spots, he spliced together footage from different days to make them into a sequence. No attempt was made to reorder the footage. It has been left as Clint had it. We are riding the southbound Copper Country Limited. The first scene is allegedly picking up mail at Keweenaw Bay, and everything looks correct, except there is no station sign. Then a series of clips takes us down to Baraga. The date is not indicated. The notes say number 10 leaving Calumet on the last day of RPO service, which resulted in the train being pulled off 6 months later.
Is that the old depot? The
Could
one that
be.
they moved across town?
Yeah, that could be.
They moved it across town while the station agent still lived in it. And there's pictures of it, and there's smoke coming out of the stack because, you know, she was still cooking dinner while they were moving it across town.
And that's Osceola in the distance we're looking at with them being southbound.
That's the remnants of a Mineral Range roundhouse right there.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the CNHY. This is Swedetown, a little community there where those big water tanks are now.
Another view of number 10, with extra Pullmans on for draftees at St. Mary's Junction near Calumet. The crossing of the Calumet and Hecla's line to Osceola number 6.
This is probably Woodland Road here, and then that becomes the paved road that heads into Calumet.
Also south side of Calumet here.
Picking up mail at Keweenaw Bay. Number 10, just before the loss of U.S. Mail RPO car.
Is this the mailbag at Speed Shot?
Keweenaw Bay is located down by Baraga.
This is pretty cool if you haven't seen this.
Yeah, if you watch close, you can see the bag get kicked out the door too.
Yep.
As he goes by.
Oh, this is actually legitimate mail exchange?
Yes. This is the RPO. Here's 10 coming south.
We have a member of the Historical Society who collects cancellation. RPO cancellation.
There goes the bag.
Yeah. That's amazing. And that's what the only thing that was keeping the Copper Country Limited going at the end was the mail contract.
Correct.
And once they lost that, they dumped the service.
There's the postmaster at Keweenaw Bay.
Now, this is a mystery, as the notes make no mention of this series of clips. It is another ride on the southbound Copper Country Limited, And this clip looks like Keweenaw Bay, only without the station sign.
I think this is Herman here.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the two crossings close together in Herman.
Here's another clip of exchanging mail at Herman on a different day. This trip is also undated.
And now this is the last little jog up Lance Hill, and the track will curve to the right, and then you go up and over that ridge to Summit. And now we head back north to Keweenaw Bay abruptly. Instead of a slow order, a more tentative engineer at the throttle that day.
You almost got hit by the...
Yep.
Riding the cab on the last run north from Champion, where the train came off the Milwaukee Road, into Calumet on March 8th, 1968. He acknowledged some of this was overexposed. If his camera was anything like my grandfather's movie camera that I used, you had to set the f-stop manually, and sometimes you just guessed wrong.
This is Champion. And that's along Lake Michigamme. This is between Pashiki Woodyard and Michigamme.
Ah.
And this is westbound on number 9.
Is that river? The highway is just to our right?
No, you're kind of away from the lake in this little stretch here. But that telltale is that rock bluff.
Okay.
And now this is the S curves coming into the east side of Michigamme. This is Michigamme with the highway on the right there. Mount Shasta Restaurant would be roughly to your right. Looks like the Michigamme Depot's been dormant for a fair amount of time.
Yeah, they're not picking any about this day. Huh.
And now we're west of Michigamme. There's that river. That's the Spur River.
Okay.
Runs between Michigamme and Three Lakes, or just about.
See, they replaced that crossing in Champion.
Mm-hmm. And that's your yard limit for the east side in Astoria.
Huh. Oh, wow.
There's the Duluth line curving off to the left. Now that platform still exists in the weeds in Astoria.
Yeah, I think the scale house still stands too.
Yep. Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And now here's your rock bluffs between Astoria and Summit. This is where you're working your way north. And it's kind of a fooler because you're actually slightly uphill to Summit from Astoria. But you don't really notice it. No one talks about it because it's not Lance Hill that lies on the other side. There's Summit. Yep. And that, I believe the only passing track that still exists would be the one on the left now that's at Summit. But that's interesting to see it with 2.
Yeah.
And that's for trains that would double into Summit.
From down below.
From Lance, yep.
Yeah.
Doubling southbound up the hill. And here's your first big drop off from Summit down into Herman. This is Herman.
Full boxcar.
Mm-hmm. believe this is between Bovine and Lance, and I believe that's the Bovine wood yard we're coming up to on the right. And this is that last step down, coming down Lance Hill into Baraga, because you can see Keweenaw Bay down there. That's kind of the telltale. I think that's the Lance yard board right there. Yep, yard limit. That's the Ford switch. Still called the Ford switch.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Because you'll see there's another switch below that,
Yeah.
line that veered off to the right, that connected with the Ford Railroad. And that's your Falls River Bridge they're crossing.
Oh, look at that depot. Oh, they don't have the that 3 light signal on it right now.
The order board.
Train order, yeah.
I have that.
Yeah, there's the Sioux Line Lance switch engine.
So,
Boy, just a 4-car train that day. And that's where the MH&O branch used to head west towards Ontonagon. This is in the swamp between Lance and Baraga.
huh.
Here we are in downtown Baraga.
Look at that. Someone waiting for the train?
Correct? She has her red jacket on,
Yeah.
looking sharp. Now that foundation was visible. This is like a Simmons right where the tribal center is.
Yeah. I remember when that building was still standing. Fell down just a couple years ago.
This would be the Fewsville Trestle.
What was it called?
Fewsville, F-E-W-S, Fewsville. It's a short but pretty high trestle. It's still in, all wooded in, but it's there.
Huh.
And that's between that Van Stratton machine shop and the community of Keweenaw Bay. It's a real short jaunt and just a shorty trestle like you saw. There we go. Here's Keweenaw Bay from the fireman's seat.
Good old Finnish farmstead.
Yeah, I was going to say somewhere by Arnheim.
Yeah, it looks, yeah.
And here's your Sturgeon River swamp I was talking about. Flat and straight, and they'd make up time. That's the yard board for Houghton. That's East Houghton. Now, was that the freight depot or just...
This is a freight depot, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is this the last run?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Jim Elaine's students. He took his class for the trip to Calumet.
Oh, so they're about to get on the train.
Yeah.
Interesting. And that building still stands. It's in real nice shape still, last I saw.
Yeah. And Madeline used it for their contract. Madeline contracted used it for their offices for a while, and now it's some sort of child care place.
Ah, here's some good footage under the lift bridge.
So what?
Hancock side turning left to go into Hancock. The line to the right goes to Dollar Bay and Lake Linden. And now we're at the foot of Hancock Hill, and that's a roughly 4% grade that you're starting right up very abruptly. And now you can see the severity of the grade as you look back.
To the right to Lake Linden, was that somebody else?
Nope, that was Sioux Line.
They were both Sioux Line?
Sioux Line and Copper Range shared under the bridge, and then their routes diverged just east of there.
They're right parallel to Delaware Bay, like just feet apart.
Yeah, and this is back by like where Mastahito trails are.
Yeah, it's that big curve.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see the potato warehouse.
That's at Boston, right?
It is. It still stands.
I think that was Lake Annie Road right there.
Those barns aren't next to the track there, though.
No, it's northbound, railroad westbound between Hancock and Calumet. I think really between Hancock and Boston location, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
And then we're in
Now
Calumet.
we're arriving in Calumet. We skipped ahead to the terminus. There's the South Y switch.
That's remnants of the mid-range roundhouse on the left there.
That's interesting. And you believe that's their old depot building on the right, minus the big tower.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, yeah.
Okay. There's the crew.
I've seen that picture.
Yep. And now we're Copper Range. Now he wanted me to point out, he said that the 2-unit trains you saw in the Copper Range, this would have been one of the reclaimed stamp sands trains. And I believe that's Mill Mine Junction. Wouldn't you agree?
Looks like it.
Heading out to Champion. And they're turning the corner at Mill Mine right there. Right? That's essentially a Y-leg they're using.
It is, yeah.
Okay. So it'd be railroad westbound Houghton to the Champion Mill at Frida with this move.
That's fresh paint, so it's probably really close to 64. That's when they put those handrails on.
Okay. That's a good telling feature too, hey? Now this is Beacon Hill, Edgemere, east side of Beacon Hill. I've seen it written up as Edgemere. And that's a westbound loaded stamp sand train.
You can't take this picture anymore. That is all trees.
Yep.
If it wasn't for the fact that there was that sharp curve at the bottom of the hill, it'd be hard to locate where that bridge was now.
So where's the sand from? Where's it going?
This is
From the Atlantic sands and the Michigan smelter sands, I believe.
it's 1966. They
There
have
you
the
go. Your
previous-
GBW caboose is the telltale.
Yeah.
Clint is riding Copper Range Unit number 200, a Baldwin S12, in November of 1967. It is a train of stamp sand from the former Atlantic Mill site at Houghton to the Champion Mill at Frida.
The sands is reclaimed from the Portage shipping canal, loaded into rail cars, and then hauled out to Champion.
There was a fairly decent amount of copper in that, which is why they were reclaiming it.
And I think this is between Redridge and Frida, don't you think? Like that's the curve off the steel bridge or the steel dam, maybe.
Yeah, it's it's hard. I'm still orienting myself. First time seeing the footage.
Right. Yeah.
I'm still in awe of just seeing Copper Range moving.
Yeah, and track speeds are obviously all 10 mph. And you can see the sand littering the right of way. Once they started the stamp sand move, they were leaky old cars that leaked all over the right of way. Obenhoff?
So I think this is Beacon Hill.
Sure, yep,
Because
pardon me.
that's the... I always wanted to see that, that's would go down to the other mills. I never realized it branched off the bridge. That is so cool.
Imagine having a turnout. And that was the shot we saw before from the county road, but now you're on the train.
Yeah, turnout on the bridge. Wow.
Low man and seniority had to line that switch. And this is arriving Frida westbound with a loaded train. And now we're shoving into the mill.
The mill being
The stamp mill, where the ore and stamp sand were reprocessed and turned into concentrate.
Now we're down below. It looks like we're going to be pulling a concentrate car out of the mill.
Yep. That flat is probably used as a spacer.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's the door into the mineral part shed is like really low.
Those mineral cars, they call them, they were real low profile, weren't they?
They were. But they were still 50 ton, but it doesn't take much copper to get to 50 tons.
No, gosh, no. And then he told me, you correct me if this is wrong, but these mineral cars were then going to the C&H smelter in Lake Linden.
Yes, and that has been an argument I've been having with people who you get these young guys that don't know or don't understand, and it's like, well, they can interchange them. They're not interchange worthy. Like, it's going to an industrial railroad.
Yep. Is this Toivola southbound?
Yeah.
Toivola, depending on your preference, but this is southbound. And that's M26 on the right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it, guys.
Is there another video?
No, that's it. Sorry.
No more reels?
Thank you for watching. Here you can subscribe or link to other videos. Bye for now.